Hey there, Scott with HVAC Technician Sales Secrets, and today I want to go over explaining some damage with your client, your homeowner, or your business owner, with you to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity. And I want to start with a saying that is attributed a lot to Tony Robbins, that a confused mind says no. And so one of the things that I see technicians struggle with, no matter how long they've been out in the field, is that they give too technical of an explanation. That they go way too far into the weeds of sine, cosine of electricity, of gas pressure, of RPMs, of heat, and like there's a point where your consumer wants to know that you have the skills, the talents, the capabilities, and the knowledge to do what needs to be done. They don't necessarily need an engineer level explanation of the problems, the issues, or the concerns. And so for you to know this is important, it is your job to explain information in a way that makes sense to the consumer. That is your responsibility. That is your role. That is what you are supposed to do, okay? And so when I ride with technicians, one of the things that I take a look at is how do they explain the issue that's going on to the buyer? How do they explain the issue that's going on to the homeowner, to the business owner, to the consumer? And the best of the best give explanations that are very easy to follow. They're very straightforward. And remember, your job isn't to give the perfect explanation. Your job is to give the explanation where it meets the buyer, where it meets the consumer. So first and foremost, do not make anything up. Don't lie. There's no need for that. There's so much business in this industry. There's so much capability for you to do what needs to be done. You don't have to lie, okay? Now that that's out of the way. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to hvactechsecrets.com and sign up for the email list so I can get you how to explain damage. So in there, you have a name, an email address, and a phone number. Hit submit. You'll be signed up. It'll give you some information. It'll send you to the Facebook group, allow for you to do everything that needs to be done. I promise you're going to be okay. All right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you explain damage for parts and pieces, that it's like 3 to 5 sentences at the most. That it makes sense, that they're short words. So like when I was a kid, they would teach you syllable count. So like, confusion. That's 3 syllables. I try to think, how can I explain damage in less than 4 syllables? If I can explain it in 3 syllables, even better. But you have words like capacitor. Like there's 4 syllables there. So like, how could you explain things in a way that makes sense? 3 to 5 sentences that are easy to follow, that are not confusing, not explained for an engineer, right? Your job is to give the information to the consumer in a way that makes sense for them. And so one of the places that I see salespeople, technicians, everybody struggle is they talk at like an 80th grade level when they only need to talk at like a 6th grade level. That's not anything demeaning or bad about the consumer. They don't need to know all the stuff that you need to know to do your job. If you could go to them and say, hey, look, this is what a fan motor does, this is what a capacitor does, and explain it in a way that's easy for them to digest, that's your job, that's your responsibility. And what happens is, especially when we struggle, including me, we tend to go too fancy. We tend to get like way too far into the weeds. We tend to do things that we're not supposed to do. So if you have a set way of explaining damage, a set way of explaining what a fan motor does, a set way of explaining what an HVAC coil is, a set way of explaining a reversing valve, you have more influence over somebody because like you're able to take them from super difficult to easy and not complicated, okay? So my challenge for you is figure out a way to explain the damage, the problem, the part, and the issue in a way that makes sense. Now, there's times where we use analogies. There's times where we have conversations and say, hey, this is my idea, or this is my concept, this is what I want to go over with you. Fantastic. But if you're going to roll out an analogy, you're going to want to practice that first. You're going to want to practice it first. So like if someone says, well, why is an air conditioner weighed out in tons? It's like, hey, the thing that you need to know is an air conditioner is like really an ice machine. And if there wasn't hot air blown over the coil, it would produce ice. Like that might be one explanation that you're going to use. Is it the super technical one? No, it's not. Remember, it's not meant for it to be technical. It's meant for them to go, oh, I grasp in a way that makes sense to me, and I'm okay with that. I have been on calls where I have been with technicians that they had a ability to sell a part, a piece, a club membership, a maintenance program, a partner plan, whatever you want to call it, or a system. But because they took 15 minutes to explain how a capacitor works, they lost the buyer. I've seen it happen. I've been on calls. And to make it worse, I've done this when I was brand new, okay? So you're going to want a way to explain the damage to your consumer. Be patient. Here's the thing. Some people, It may take 2 or 3 times for you to go through. And if you get flustered, they get flustered. If you get mad, they get mad. Be patient. You're paid by the hour. You're paid by the task. You're paid by somehow. The company pays for your gas to get there. If it takes 2 extra minutes to explain what's going on, take the time to explain the damage in a way that makes sense to your consumer so they can make a decision, yes, no, or I don't want to do it. There you go. Sign up, HVACTechSecrets.com, name, email address, phone number, surprise training, even a Facebook group. We'll see you soon.